The video is disturbing. Just released surveillance footage from 2016 showing what appears to be Diddy violently assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie. In the video obtained by CNN, Diddy, seen in a towel, strikes Cassie, and after dropping to the ground, she is kicked twice from behind. Diddy then attempts to drag her away from the elevator bank. Later in the footage, it appears Diddy shoves Cassie in the corner, then throws an object in her direction.
I just started as if we literally just watched it. Dude, so that video of Diddy going around, man, is insane. Like, he's been lying about all this stuff for years. That video we just saw was in 2016. For 8 years straight, he's been like, nah, man, I never touched her or whatever, or anybody for that matter. I've never done anything abusive. And then the video comes out, and he has nothing to say besides apologize. And now it's like, come on, bro. So now you have no credibility with anything you say.
Here's the deal with guys like Diddy, right? Part of it is they never developed emotional maturity, and they surround themselves with people that say yes. They're called yes men. They just, yeah, you got it. Yeah, man, you're right. Yeah, she was in the wrong. She deserved to get punched. That guy deserved to get shot. That guy, right? Like all these things happen. And so you have no one course correcting you, because if you end up trying to course correct Diddy, you end up leaving his circle, his inner circle. And obviously you lose your financial access to whatever he's given you. And so because he's got no emotional maturity, no emotional discipline, that video that we saw where he's beating his girlfriend from 2016, that ain't the first time. That kind of beating that we just saw, like, that's like, I've done this before.
Oh yeah, it's way worse going down in the hotel room or whatever behind closed doors.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so what's happening now with Diddy is everything's coming to the surface, and you've got an emotionally reckless man-child who was insulated with money and power, and now that money and power is quickly disappearing into a vacuum because of all the sexual accusations that are coming out, and then all this like physical abuse of women. This isn't just like he pushed her into a wall. Like he was straight beating her. Like I would beat someone down if they were trying to kidnap my kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he was just beating her that way.
Yeah.
And so this is a great example of men needing emotional maturity and emotional control, because if they don't have it, they will end up like Diddy. And then men also being surrounded by other men who will call them out, Be like, hey man, I think what you did there, your actions, was not congruent to the character that you're trying to depict. And as a friend, as a brother, I want to call you out and let you know you need a course correct. And if that means that you're never going to talk to me again, so be it. But I've got core values, I got character, I've got integrity, and I thought you did too. And so I'm going to call you out. But if we're not going to be friends, that's cool. But Diddy's a piece of shit. That's the bottom line. He's a piece of shit, and the media can sugarcoat it any way they want, because he's going to hire PR teams to influence the media, and those PR teams are going to do a damn good job of taking the gullible public and getting him to go, oh, well, you know, maybe that wasn't him. It was kind of blurry. That could have been another black dude. And you know, like he was fake kicking, or it was this. The bottom line, he's a piece of shit human who's finally getting what he deserves. And I hope this continues to go down that path where he learns a lesson, and it also becomes an example to other douchebags like him in the future, who think that their money and their power are going to insulate them from, you know, doing stupid shit. At the end of the day, you do stupid shit, you win stupid prizes, and that's what's happening to Diddy now.
Right. What does it look like as far as men holding other men accountable when things like this happen? And I'm not talking about like directly in your circle, because if they're super close to you and you're directly in their circle, you can have a conversation with them. Hey man, you messed up. Like, I don't rock this with this, you know, I'm out, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But when you're not in this person's circle, how does accountability work? Like, as far as, you know, hey, we don't play this person's music anymore. Hey, we don't, you know, do you speak up on it? You know, even though you don't technically have anything to do with the situation, like, because Lauren showed a video earlier of somebody else reacting to this situation, and they were talking about how we can't let men sit at the table with us anymore. When that kind of thing happens, whether we're close or not, you're like exiled. Like, you can't sit over here anymore. You kind of kick them out. Like, we got to bring back shaming, these kinds of things.
Bro, that used to be the case in like medieval times. That's just how it was. Like, you're a man, I'm a man. If you bring shame to men in our code, like whether we're tight or not, like I have to speak up. I have to say something. Nowadays, it's like, well, you know, he's not a friend of mine, and I didn't see that abuse happening myself with my own eyes. Like, motherfucker, there's a whole video that took place. Like, if you don't have core values, like, I don't know Diddy personally. I've never talked to him, but I will tell you, he's a piece of shit. who doesn't deserve any of the wealth and power or anything that he has. And I think the best thing people can do is to vote with their money and not buy his products and services, not buy his vodka, don't listen to his music, don't buy his brands, don't patronize the businesses that he has equity in or that he started, because that's the best way you can vote. The second best way is men need to step up and go, you know what? I don't agree with that. And I don't care if you have 100 followers or 100 million followers on your YouTube or Instagram. Like, if something doesn't make sense, you see something, say something. And that's the problem. So many people like bury their head because they're like, well, it didn't affect me and my family until it finally does. And by then it's too late. $1 gets donated to Shriners Children's Hospital with every purchase. I fucked that one up. Learn about the Trillium Wellness Shot. Listen, I used to take vitamin D. I used to take vitamin C, paprika. The Trillium Wellness Shot. Look, I used to take paprika. I can't say paprika. Who the fuck takes paprika? You care about your hydration. You want to stay. And I want to send you a pack of 30 Trillium Wellness Shots. Did I fuck that one up? I think I fucked that one up. I fucked that one up. Trillium Wellness Shots. Make your dick bigger. Fuck this shit, bro. Vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin... Who gives a fuck? Try the Trillium Wellness Shot. I used to take 11 different supplements in the morning. Things like vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, echinacea, ginger, and a whole bunch more. Now it's all included in the Trillium Wellness Shot. So go to Trillium.com, use code word Bedros, and take advantage of this amazing offer. Now back to the show. So I think, yeah, we absolutely have a responsibility. I'll give you a funny example, but it's a great example. I was in Austin, Texas recently. And I was working out at a big box gym there. I won't mention the name of the big box gym. But there was a dude next, I was stretching, and there was a dude next to me with another on a stretch mat. And he was stretching in a very weird and provocative way. Now, let's keep in mind that I worked at a gay club before, and I worked at Disneyland, another high gay population. And it's not lost on me that Austin has a high gay population. And while this man didn't have a sign over his head that said, I'm gay, based on my gaydar fine-tuning over the years that I've worked at a gay club and at Disneyland, I could clearly see he's gay, right? But I'm cool with the gays. I'm very cool with the gays. However, this homeboy is like in a very compromising position when he's stretching. And halfway through his stretching with his ass up in the air and his head down on the mat, he decides to get his iPhone. Bro, you can picture that, right? And by the way, he's wearing like,
I didn't want to, but
like 80s short shorts. Right? And he's watching something on YouTube. And so I just kind of glance over. I'm like, God damn it, man. You thinking to myself, like, bro, you represent me as a man.
Right.
You represent me as a man. Like, don't do that.
Right.
Like, bring your fucking ass down and bring your head up. Like, watch your fucking YouTube video that way. It's one thing to stretch just for a second or two. It's another thing to find yourself in a very comfortable position, in that compromising position. And so, like, you know, part of me was like, I'm laughing in my head the whole time because I'm like, this motherfucker represents me as a man. Like, if an alien ship came down and they're like, oh, man, what's up with that man? I guess they're all like going to do that ass up position, right? No, motherfucker, I don't. But with all jokes aside, man, the bottom line is Diddy is a piece of shit. More people need to call him out, whether people in his circle of influence or people outside of that. But it's when people go like, that has nothing to do with me, that I don't know the full story. You don't need to know the full story if you've got a video like that. And then ultimately, when there's smoke, there's fire. If there's enough smoke, there's fire. I don't need to go and look at the fire if I can see smoke coming over the hills.
Right.
And that's the problem with humanity, is they've stopped using their brains and common sense and start listening to big PR companies and media that contort the story.
Right. So the last thing, I want to kind of spin us a different direction when it comes to mentorship, because we talk a lot about mentorship, and I'm not saying Diddy's a mentor to somebody else, but let's say if somebody who wants to put out music, maybe they look up to him for what he's done, and now when this comes out, they're like, dude, this whole time dude was a liar, he was beating people up, he was doing this, whatever, maybe all the other stuff is true. So when it comes to finding how do you trust somebody when it comes to being a leader in that way? Because everyone nobody's perfect. Some of them might be even worse than, like, not even just I'm not perfect. They might be doing some really messed up stuff. So how do you trust somebody as far as following them in that way of being a mentee of them, I guess?
That is a great question, because we can't look at one person and go, I like everything about them. There's nothing about any one person that you should want to be exactly like. You know what I mean? There isn't. So someone might look at Diddy and go, you know what? I really admire his hustle in the music industry. I admire the way he built his empire. But I don't admire the way he beats women. I don't admire the way he belittles people. In fact, you know, Ed over here used to work for Complex Magazine. Ed, you mind if I share that story real quick?
Sure.
You know, P. Diddy came in, like Ed worked for Complex Magazine. It was going to be a photo shoot, a video shoot for something that P. Diddy was promoting. I think it was maybe Ciroc or something. And P. Diddy came in hours late, was irritable and angry, and was like, we're only doing this with one take and that's it. And then like, so imagine the lighting guys, the camera guys, the production team, right? Like that's disrespectful, man. Like I don't give a fuck how much money you have. I can't respect a man who is that much of a prick. I can respect the parts of Diddy where he was a visionary and he was like, you know what? Instead of promoting another person's alcohol brand in my videos, I'll create my own and promote mine. Like I can respect the entrepreneur and the hustle in him, but not respect the man that he is, because he's a shitty example of a man. And so when people make a blanket statement like, I want to be like Diddy, I want to be like Jordan, I want to be like Bedros, there's parts of me that are probably not fun to be like. You know what I mean? There just isn't. You might want to be like me in certain categories, but you probably don't want my level of patience. I'm an impatient prick. And when I decide to turn on my impatient prick, like I'm not a fun person to be around. Someone should not want to model themselves after that part of me. So you got to pick and choose. Like Hitler was, in general, a very bad person and did very bad things. We could all agree. But we should all also go like, how the fuck did he unite all of these people to agree upon this thing where we're going to put the Jews on a train and take them to death camps, right? Like, and when people started to know what was happening, how did they continue to agree? How did he have such influence and mind control over a nation? Like, clearly he had a gift of communication. He had a gift of orating, but he was a very evil human. So I might study the gifts that he's got to be a better messenger, influencer, and orator, but I'm certainly not going to look up to Hitler or have my kids look up to Hitler as an overall general type of man to be like. And that's the problem, is we need to pick and choose the traits that we want from individuals.